Senate on Wednesday suspended its plenary and announced that the debate on the state of emergency imposed on the Rivers State by President Bola Tinubu has been shifted to Thursday. The postponement was announced after the Senate leadership delayed the commencement of its plenary for about 2 hours when the majority of the 7 senators across party lines had not fully taken their seats. The debate was delayed till 3 p.m. without much explanation when the Senate leader Okpayemi Bamidele APC Ekiti Central, who sponsored the motion, moved to step it down by citing Order 1B of the Senate Standing Order 2023 as amended. The motion was seconded by Minority Leader Abba Moro, PDP Benue South, and the chamber moved on to the next item without further debate. The motion, as proposed by Bamidele, expresses apprehension over the deteriorating security situation in Rivers State. To approve the declaration, the Senate requires a 2/3 majority, 73 out of 109 senators, to allow the emergency rule to take effect. There was, however, a palpable fear that the House may not meet the requirement on Thursday. Eventually, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, put the postponement of the debate and suspension of the plenary to voice votes, which was affirmatively responded to by many of the senators. Now, by this, you see from this, the Senate is yet to even debate on the state of emergency. But right now, we have our sole administrator, Major Ibas, currently in Port Harcourt, and he has been sworn in. What are your thoughts on this report?
Well, we are still within time for the Senate to meet. The National Assembly has 2 days to ratify that state of emergency.
All right.
Yeah, but what happened yesterday? That the Senate did not meet the requirement, the quorum to deliberate on the issue of the state of emergency. So that plenary was suspended and moved to today. Today, the National Assembly is expected to look at the report and take a stand on that. But like I said, before the state of emergency was declared, the President consulted the leadership of the National Assembly.
But we just, you know, this report just told us that for it to fly, for this to work, there has to be at least 75. How come it's already being implemented before they are sitting on it?
No, it's not implemented. The Constitution is very clear. If there is a state of emergency, the National Assembly has 2 days to rectify, to either reject or support that state of emergency. So today is, I'm sure by the end of the President declared the state of emergency on Tuesday. We have up to the end of today for the National Assembly to review the action of the President in Rivers State.
But we already have Admiral Ibas, you know, as a
the law did not say. You see, when a state of emergency is declared, the Assembly has 2 days. It's not said the sole administrator will have to be pending the ratification by the National Assembly. The law did not provide for that. So
that is because, don't you think that is because the law does not provide for a sole administrator in the first place?
I am not aware that the law did not provide for sole administrator. It is the National Assembly did not also say that. Like I said, the President consulted widely. The President consulted the National Assembly. The Attorney General was consulted, who is the chief law officer of the country. The Senate President, the House of Rep Speaker, the Deputy Senate President, the Deputy Senate Speaker, and the principal officer of the House were consulted. So what we should expect today is to see if the leadership of the National Assembly actually consulted members of the House before giving the President the go-ahead to declare state of emergency. We will see all that. Let's not preempt the decision of the outcome of today's plenary. Let us wait to see what the National Assembly will turn at the end of the day. But don't forget, you know, when we said in Rivers State that 3 members, you saw what happened. 3 members of the Assembly cannot form quorum. They said it's not correct. That 3 members can take decision and pass budget.
The Supreme Court has ruled that as wrong action.
So the Senate could not even sit because for you to pass enforcement law in the Senate, you need 2/3, except for mere resolution that you need 1/3 of the House to read amendments and all that. But now the Senate suspended because they did not form quorum. So it should send a strong message to those at the Rivers State Government House that quorum is important when it comes to legislative businesses.
Thank you so much for your insight on that report. Federal government on Wednesday said that the allocation for Rivers State will be released to the administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Ibas, retired. The government also said President Bola Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State was timely and meant to avert an implosion in the state. This is as it said that the former governor of Rivers State and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has no role in the political crisis in Rivers State that culminated in the declaration of a state of emergency. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi-San, stated this while briefing State House correspondents at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. While fielding questions on whether the federal government would release the allocation from the Federation account to the state in the view of the latest development, the minister said if the administrator requests for it, it will be released to him. And to me, it will be in order for the release of that fund because the event of the extraordinary situation has brought them out of the normal situation of things. He justified the decision of the president to declare a state of emergency in the state. According to him, we have about 2 years into the administration in the state. Now, when do you think he, Mr. President, would have come in? Is it when things has been destroyed? I don't think so. I think the president has acted timeously. He has given the opportunity to all parties involved to make amends. Before then, he had to assemble them. He had tried to mediate, he stated. President Tinubu had on Tuesday declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, suspending Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Udu, and all elected members of the Rivers State House of Assembly for an initial period of 6 months. In a national broadcast, Tinubu cited prolonged political instability, constitutional breaches, and security threats as reasons for the extraordinary measure. What are your thoughts on this report?
Well, it's a good one because it's also part of the reason why some of us feel that it is the ordinary people that will suffer the political instability in Rivers State. Now, local government workers are yet to receive their February salary as a result of the seizure of the allocation. Now, is it not the ordinary people that are suffering? The bigwigs are enjoying their life. The governor is not affected in any way. The speaker is not affected. The FCT minister is not affected. It is the ordinary Rivers man and woman that is affected. And we hope it should not affect developmental projects. Now we're talking about salary for workers. And when somebody is not paid, especially when you have this kind of situation in Rivers State, you won't have the motivation to go to work. So that's the multiplier effect. It is going to affect a whole lot of things. So because of the seizure of allocation. But if the federal government has come out to say, okay, we want to, because the way it is now, the Supreme Court made it very clear. Present budget. It's only when your budget is presented that the allocation should be released. But the situation at hand, that democracy, the state of emergency means that democracy has been suspended in Rivers State. Now you have a sole administrator. And the federal government has said they are willing to release the allocation. What that means is that whatever the Supreme Court has said does not apply for now, because there is a state of emergency in Rivers State. So
so you don't have any. What do you think about the money, the allocation of Rivers State? Now, when I talk about the allocation of Rivers State, you do know that the constituents that voted the House of Assembly members into power are expecting that those people are going to be there speaking on their behalf, and they are currently suspended. Now, in all of these expectations, do you think this allocation should be given to one person in the interest of everybody? Now, for everybody, I'm talking about all of the constituents and all of the hopes and all of the actual measures, given that we run a democratic government. Or, as it were, Nigeria is run a democratic government, even though River State doesn't currently run one.
It's an unfortunate situation we find ourselves. And more especially, money being released to somebody who is not from River State. And it takes, is this going to judiciously use our fund?
But you did say it was a good thing just now.
I said what?
You said it was a good thing.
No. What I said that in respect to those who are not being paid.
Okay.
The workers who may not go to work because their salaries are being delayed.
Okay.
But my point is, that is what there is this adage in my place. They say when two brothers fight, strangers will come and take their father's sweat. That's the situation we are in River State. Because the gladiators refuse to do what they are supposed to do. Now, the president has brought in an outsider to manage the state. And I've also indicated interest to release the fund. If we say don't release this fund, there will be so many negative implications. For 6 months, that the administration, if the resolution is passed by the Senate, are you saying for 6 months workers in River State should not take salary? That is going to be outrageous. There will be serious problem in the state. But we are in a fixed, we are in a tight corner that there's nothing we can do. Workers have to be paid. Those in Riwama, the waste management company, have to be paid. You saw what happened, was it 2 years ago, when the contractors complained that they were not properly paid, that we have to see heap of dirty all over the town. Are you ready to experience such kind of thing again? That's the situation that may face us if the allocation is not released. But we do not have option. But the federal government will have to release the allocation because they gave the Rivers Assembly and the government.
We do not have options. What do you mean?
We do not have option because we have an administrator. If you say don't release the fund to the administrator, it is Rivers people that will suffer. The state will not move forward. The government cannot pay anything for 6 months. The effect will be so much that I don't know. I don't want to exaggerate, but nobody should pray for such situation that there shouldn't be allocation for 6 months. But the truth is that we refuse to do what we are supposed to do. The assembly refused to shift ground. The governor refused to shift ground. And that's why we are where we are. That's why an administrator have to come in. The fund should be released. But for me, I will suggest that of course, the administrator cannot run the state alone. Definitely, he will appoint Rivers people who will work with him while he will oversee whatever thing that is happening. But I want to appeal that he should judiciously use Rivers Fund and whatever action he want to take. Because to have found ourselves in a war situation and we do not have a say again, let him please use our fund judiciously. Because we are already in crisis. Let us not go into another crisis, maybe economic crisis. And the president also and the National Assembly should look into the activities of the sole administrator of the River State to protect the interests of Rivers people. Because we are already in a serious situation. I don't want to say we're already down, but the situation we find ourselves is unfortunate situation. So the coming in of a solo administrator should not add to our problem. That's the point I'm making. So I'm sure from what the president said, the National Assembly will be involved in lawmaking in Rivers State for now, while the Federal Executive Council may act as the State Executive Council to approve and look at the programs of the solo administrator. I'm sure if that is done, there will be transparency in spending Rivers people resources.